West Virginia, our Purple Mountains majesty, and what's underneath those mountains has driven innovation in this country for over 200 years. Coal. The boys who pull that coal out of the earth are as tough as nails. I'm talking rock hard. If nothing turns you on more than a long, dark shaft and loads and loads and loads of thick, black coal, then West Virginia is where you want to be. West Virginia, it's not the kind of place for guys who say, hell yeah, miners with an OR. It's the kind of place for guys who say, hell yeah, miners with an ER. Sure, the pay may be shit, but the hours, well, they're also shit. But you do it for the boys. Grizzled, wiry, and if you're lucky, shirtless. Them boys, that's who you do it for, goddammit. So are you built for it? Are you built for tough? Okay. The new Ford F-250 BBC edition, awarded Best in Fucking Miners by J.D. Power and Associates. The Ford F-250 Big Black Coal Edition. The more load you can dump, the more you get paid. So tell me, are you in it for the love? Or are you in it for the loads? I jizz for coal. Hey everybody, welcome back to Delete Everything Podcast, your deep dark hole full of coal that we're going to mine out, and we're going to set it ablaze with the knowledge of the things you've forgotten. I'm your narrator, Patrick Wall. With me, some city slicker. What's your name, son?
I'm Riley Bowen. Hey, all the way here from Kansas City, Missouri.
Is that
It's a big city. Real civilization, paper books.
Oh my God. Thank you guys. Before we start, thank you everybody who has left us reviews, ratings, Spotify comments, all that stuff. If you're enjoying what we do and you're listening weekly and all that stuff, doing those ratings, doing those reviews helps us so freaking much. So we thank you if you've done it. If you haven't done it, please jump on Spotify. You can comment in the individual episodes. You can also rate the show on Spotify. We've got some other things. We've got YouTube. You can listen to all the episodes there. We're still working on video stuff for you guys. So, stay tuned on that. We've got Instagram at Delete Everything Podcast, where you can see videos or posts, photos. That's the word. Photos of all these episodes. Also, I mentioned it last week. I'm going to mention it every week between now and then. We've got our year in review coming. We are going to do a live show on YouTube Live. We are going to have friend of the show, Brian Velez, sit in and try and do the entire year, every episode, and just boil it down to like a 1-minute synopsis for each one. And
are we going to have a timer for that? Or are we going to have you only have 1 minute? Come on.
I think we're going to let him go for like maybe 5-10 minutes at a time and just laugh riotously at him.
If he doesn't come through and show up for this episode, I'll do it. I'll sit down. I'll just do it in his voice the whole time. Pseudoscience is kind of like a...
Yeah, but the thing is that Brian, even though he was part of the inception of this podcast and was originally going to be a member of the podcast, he has not listened to any episodes of the podcast. So that's why we want him to try and run down every single episode that we've done. Again, if we let him, you guys don't know Brian, if we let him just figure it out, it would be a 10-hour live stream. But we're gonna keep it short, and we're hoping that a lot of listeners are going to tune into that. I think most people have YouTube. So we really, really hope you guys will tune in, and we're going to do some Q&A stuff and just say hi to you guys and hang out and laugh a bunch, I hope. So with that, I think I said all the things, right? Oh, if you want to leave us a message, if you want to talk to us, if you want to give us any show suggestions, delete everything podcast at gmail.com is where to drop us a line. And we, even with the comments on Spotify and everything like that, we interact with you guys. So, feel free to say hi. Feel free to join in any comments that you see. You'll see us in there. You'll see us talking. So, and lastly, what?
Nothing. So you'll see us. We'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be in there. Also, if the what 50 something 54 episodes I think we're up to now on this one, that's not enough for you. If you've listened to every single one of them and you're like more.
How do you like me? How do you like it? How do you like it? More.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. More.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a good song.
No, I don't know about
Patreon.com at delete everything, or I'm sorry, patreon.com/delete everything podcast. You can join us there. We've got another 30 something, 35, 36 episodes on there, and you get a new one every week. And they're a little shorter, a little more conversational, but they're a fun time, man. We get a little kooky in there.
Hey, Pat, I have a request.
Yeah.
This is a request coming from a listener.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do a Minnesota accent real quick?
Oh, no, I don't know if I could do that one right, buddy.
There you go. Okay. Thank you.
Speaking of Patreon subscribers, we have a new person that just joined out of the freaking blue. The other day. So welcome, Dr. Bitchcraft.
It's a fucking good name.
It's a good name. I don't know
I
anything.
like the doctor part because it like makes it sound kind of like fucking Venture Brothers, like super villainy.
I mean, 4 years minimum of post-grad Bitchcraft school.
Excuse me, that's Dr. Bitchcraft to you.
Dr. Bitchcraft, we would love to know where you did your
residence.
I don't know anything about Dr. Bitchcraft yet, but every single one of our Patreon listeners has gotten some sort of mention in multiple episodes. So, now we got a new person that we got to...
The voice in my head is, "'Tis I, Dr. Bitchcraft."
Hopefully over time we'll get to know Dr. Bitchcraft and we can, I think, here's the weird thing. Bitchcraft would insinuate that it's a female, but the profile picture...
Doctor insinuates it's a male.
That's not what I said. Profile picture is a man.
I think that's. I think it's a fake guy.
I think that's a fake guy too.
You know what?
I think Dr. Bitchcraft is a woman.
I think Dr. Bitchcraft is.
I don't know how Dr. Bitchcraft self-identifies, and so I'm not gonna
person hiding their trail, man.
I don't know how Dr. Bitchcraft self-identifies, so I'm just gonna leave it to Dr. Bitchcraft
as a
to
doctor,
let us know.
Sir.
As a doctor.
As
You're
a
right.
doctor.
Thanks, Doc. See you soon. Do you want to talk about your week? I don't know if I want to talk about my week.
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ.
I don't know if I want to talk about my week.
I don't know.
Should we just skip through?
I don't know. What's this topic? Are we gonna talk about how like government interference can like topple industries and leave people like struggling for work? Is that
no?
That would fit into my fucking week.
Not so much. As you guys know, if you've listened to the show, Riley Bowen works in the solar field.
Worked. There's some sort of big fucking bitch bill got passed.
There's been some recent
solar energy's out, baby.
There's been some recent rather unpopular legislation passed, and that's just numbers. I'm not even getting political here. The legislation passed, it is hugely unpopular. And one of the things that it does is get rid of the American, specifically, solar industry. So,
well, I mean, all right, so
enjoy your Chinese solar panels, idiots.
Without getting too specific about it, when the former president was in office, he enacted a plan to give like a 30% subsidy for residential solar installations, which was a big fucking carrot.
With American companies, yeah.
With American companies. It was a big fucking carrot. And I've worked for a solar company for several years now. And, perhaps the impetus is on us a little bit because we expanded pretty rapidly and things were going pretty hot. And then this latest budget bill is like, yeah, that's fucking gone. So like all the support,
day one too. Day one, all the credit's gone.
So like, all the support's holding up the multiple branches of the company.
Not just your company, billions of dollars of industry, and thousands and thousands of jobs.
Hundreds of thousands of jobs across the country, all just kind of
crazy.
So, I mean, so there are a lot of safety nets for some other stuff, so people will continue working, but it's going to be a rapidly deteriorating industry for the next 6 months, and then probably reach like an all-time.
Yeah, I'm gonna plan a whole heist on that warehouse
So
where you
I'm
used to work, bud.
pounding a bunch of Heineken Zeros, baby.
Drowning your sorrows.
I start my new job on the 21st.
Drowning your sorrows in Dutch fake beers.
Ugh, I'm gonna miss my big van. I had a big van, company van. Fuck.
It's still parked out front. I saw it.
Now I gotta give it back. I just gave my notice. I got it back like 2 weeks, and I gotta do all this dental work that I've been fucking slacking on because I still have the insurance.
Yeah.
Pain in my dick.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, whatever.
My week was not great, but I mean not great as yours.
Nah.
But you know.
Nah. What happened to your week?
Just personal shit stressing me out. That's it.
Sucks.
Yeah. But it's, it's fine. Par for the course. I have good ones. I have bad ones. This last week was a little stressful, but I'm okay. I'm here now. We do have a damn fine bit of Americana here today. We haven't done, it's been a while.
Been a while.
Since we've had a fucking slice of Uncle Sam's apple pie, haven't we?
I feel like I've been being force-fed Sam's Uncle Pie. Sam's Uncle Pie?
Sam's Uncle Pie.
I've been being force-fed Uncle Sam's apple pie all fucking month here.
Well, this one's going to be a good one. I think you're going to learn some stuff today.
I like to learn.
I learned some stuff doing these notes. I will say this. I haven't been feeling too well. This has nothing to do with my week being shitty. I just haven't been feeling very well in the last couple of days. So I started off the notes for this. I was telling you this before we started recording. I started researching this early. I was like, dude, this shit's so interesting. I'm like banging out notes and whatever. And then I got to the end and I just like haven't been feeling very well. And I've been like really easily distracted. And I'm like trying to finish off the notes. And I'm like, oh, I'm struggling so fucking hard. I just want to sleep. And I hope that my notes don't suffer as a result, but I don't know. I feel like probably shouldn't say this out loud because maybe nobody would notice if I didn't say it out loud. But now I've said it out loud. And so now everybody's going to be just hyper fixated on.
It's okay. I feel embarrassed about talking about my work situation with such enthusiasm.
We are in a weird mood in the studio
It's
today.
an odd day and it's hot.
It is hot in here.
It's hot in here.
Drew turned off the AC. That's why.
He doesn't like to fuck with the background noise.
Drew turned off the AC and then left.
You guys don't know this, but we sweat like fucking hogs while we're doing this job, okay?
All right. Well, we are going to chat today
My
about...
glasses are fogging up.
Oh, no. We might have to turn the AC back on.
I'm just going to take them off.
Should we turn the AC back on?
I don't need to see. No.
No? Okay.
Fuck with the audio quality. Something about a gate thing that Drew keeps talking about.
Drew sweats his ass off making these episodes sound beautiful for you guys. So
Drew works way harder than either of us do.
Definitely you.
Yeah, definitely me.
So, all right, we are going to talk about a whole slew of fuckery today. And one of the things that I really like about where we're at 50 something episodes in is that there's almost always like a cool correlation to other episodes that we've done. Like, have you noticed, like, the more episodes we do, the more we, like, kind of do callbacks to other episodes because there's something that sort of links into other shit?
Yeah.
I specifically really like that because this is always kind of where I wanted this podcast to get eventually. Like, I talk a lot about how most of us learn history in this very, like, disjointed fractal way where everything is kind of like a standalone event. You know what I mean?
The biggest thing about history that confuses people is that every event that is placed in front of us, especially in like school, is usually put on a platter that's like an isolated incident.
Right.
You
We
know?
never learn these things that happen in history in a linear fashion or how certain events, affected other world events
which is a huge thing that like we try to do on this podcast specifically. Like when we were doing the Underground Railroad episodes, we don't want to be like, yeah, hey, slavery, it's like an island of time.
Right.
It's a fucking wide-ranging thing. It's affected by multiple factors.
100%.
Factors we can barely fathom at this point. Things would only make sense to people of the time and place. You can look at where we are in our political history right now in the United States. It would be ridiculous to say that like whatever is going on in Washington right now, regardless of what it is, I'm not saying pro or con, it would be ridiculous to say that that is the result of one thing or, there's just this one impetus on
absolutely not.
But a particular topic.
Also not only that, like how it affects other world events, that there are things that we learned, particularly middle school, high school, even at the collegiate level, that we learn in a disjointed way that are happening simultaneously with something else across the world that we learn as a standalone event. And it's very seldom that like those two things come together and you go, well, this, some things affected other things more directly. But I mean,
well, if you're talking about like the Mongolian Empire and Renaissance England,
that's exactly what I was saying.
I'm just saying like these two things happen at the same time, but they don't really fucking meet.
Right.
They did have an effect on each other though.
But it is interesting I feel like people should know that, because when you think about the Mongolian Empire and you think about Renaissance England or Europe,
yeah, it's not like you're thinking of them as being on the same playing field.
Exactly. You think of one being like way before.
Yeah, which
fucking Mongolians riding horses. And
we learned from fucking cool Dan Carlin shit that there was actually like, I think in Belgium there was a clash between actual far-ranging Mongol soldiers and like Belgian knights.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I don't think I listened to that episode.
Yeah, it's King of Kings.
I did listen to that episode.
It's a fucking what's that? 6-parter or something. It's fucking like 15 hours. This shit's crazy.
4 or 5-parter. Yeah.
But yeah, there's a whole thing like right when Kublai Khan was just about to die, the Mongol Empire was spreading so far into Western Europe that they came up across fucking knights in armor, like in like Belgium, Denmark.
Yeah.
And they actually had a huge like confrontation, and the knights were like, "This is a war." The fucking Mongol scouts are like, "Yeah, this is a little skirmish, whatever," because we've got a million of us.
Yeah.
And they got called back from the front lines because Kublai Khan died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like that empire never reached as far back out again because of infighting. So yeah, they retreated back from Western Europe. This is one of my favorite weird little like factoids about that.
I listened to that episode. I don't remember that snippet.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I'm saying. Like at the time that, England and France were, fighting fucking Henry V style fucking Renaissance battles and shit, the Pope was writing to fucking like Genghis Khan and shit and being like, "Hey, don't you come over here." And Genghis Khan's like, "I'm fucking coming."
Yeah.
And you don't think about those things all in the same sphere.
Yeah. These things that are kind of inextricably linked to this, at least to the same time period. You know what I mean? So this is a cool episode because we get to relate it to some of the things that we've already talked about in depth in other episodes that we've done previously. So one of the people that we're going to talk about briefly, actually, we're not really, I put this in my notes and then I was like, you know what? She's really not pertinent to the episode. Listen, I don't want to leave anybody out of any episode, but there's only so much time, and she did not affect this event, the events that we're going to talk about today, in such a drastic way that we can't leave her out of the story and still have a great story. So Mother Jones, you've heard of Mother Jones before, I'm assuming?
I have no idea who Mother Jones is.
Really?
Yeah.
I've definitely heard it before, possibly because of there's a publication, Mother Jones Magazine.
I mean, I think I've heard that.
Yeah, which is a pretty progressive, like largely black publication, I think. What I did learn in this episode, one of the things that I learned, Mother Jones, not a black lady.
Huh.
She was not a black lady. She was an old white lady from Ireland who moved here as a kid and became a big labor organizer in the U.S. She is pretty fascinating, like in a standalone way, and we may end up doing an episode just about her. I just didn't include her in this episode because it just wasn't super pertinent to have her be. She wasn't that involved, right? In the actual wars, in the actual Cold Wars. She came in and was like, did a lot of the union organization stuff, but
Mother Jones sounds like something that you would say if you like hit your thumb around polite company. Mother Jones.
Yeah, well, also another pretty fascinating little tidbit in this episode. Do you know the history of the word redneck?
I believe I actually do, coming from a little bit of an anarchistic punk rock past.
Okay.
I think it is, if I remember correctly, it's been a long time since I talked about this, but I believe...
Been a while.
Huh?
It's been a while.
It's
you
been
just
a while.
did that to me.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I just did it back.
I don't get the reference. But I believe it was it a miners' strike? Or it was a union of workers that actually had like an armed conflict on United States proper.
Yeah.
Right? And they wore red like cravats.
Yeah, they wore red bandanas.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was like they were like a union worker strike.
A lot of them were returning from World War I, and they were used to like the regimentation, having a uniform, being able to identify who's on your side. So yeah, it has entirely to do with coal town labor movements. And these guys fighting progressive like labor laws.
Right.
I always thought, coming from the South, that it was just
Somebody working in the sun.
Guys
for a long
working out in the
time.
sun, and their neck's always red because it's always burnt. But no, it's has to do with labor movement.
I always thought it was like a
Progressive labor
thing
movement.
where like, your son got burnt, or your son got burnt. Your neck got burnt because you were bent over fucking your cousin.
Outside?
I mean, whose house are you allowed in to fuck your cousin? It's like, Aunt Sheila's not going to be happy with you at all.
Do you have an Aunt Sheila?
No.
Damn. I was gonna be like, so tell me about Aunt Sheila's kids.
All my cousins are ugly as shit. I'm kidding, guys, if anyone's listening.
We've also got an interesting little parallel to our Fruit Wars episode in here. I feel like I'm foreshadowing. I'm not even foreshadowing. I'm just like straight up giving you the answers to the test up front. So instead, let's just jump into the history of coal, a handful of coal mining towns, and how an entire fucking pissed off workforce of dudes, hardcore enough to work in tiny, barely lit mine shafts under mountains, can shake some shit up, man.
Mists of time. 800 million years ago.
You went too far. Too far.
Wait, you said the history of coal, right? It starts over here. Dino DNA.
So you see, 800 million years ago, a tree fell. I don't like this.
That was a good tree fall,
It
though.
was a good. It was
yeah.
a decent tree fall. I will say that. We also have a producer that just pipes all these cool sound effects in.
Yeah, but
We
he's
don't even have
working
to do
hard,
that.
man. Come on. If I can make him feel better with my mouth, I'm going to do that.
Fair enough. So, all right. Before we do jump in, I do want to say this. I wanted to shout out a couple guys who suggested this episode when you and I were still like spanking fresh new on the block. I think we had just launched. I was doing preliminary research on our Westward Expansion series, and only like just then kind of realizing what I had set myself up for in terms of like how crazy of a fucking topic that was to be like, yeah, we're gonna do the Westward Expansion, and then like I'm doing preliminary research and being like, oh fuck, did I get myself into? So I was at a local bar here in St. Augustine by myself on my laptop, and these two guys walked in. I was the only other person there. We eventually started talking to each other, and it turned out they were both history professors at one of the local colleges here, Flagler College here in downtown St. Augustine. Anyway, Professors Mike Butler and Nick Miller, which are the most fucking generic names, but I swear to God, they're real humans. And I met them, I think. And I believe it was Professor Butler who suggested this topic, and thank you for that. So both really lovely guys. We had a drink. They were great. And one day we talked about having them on way back when. They both said they would love to guest, but we were still kind of getting our sea legs.
That would be cool. Let's see what they're doing.
So yeah. So I think when this comes out, I'll probably like send them a link and hopefully we'll get them on. So, all right, enough sidetrack shit. Let's dive into this, right? West Virginia, or what would eventually become West Virginia, is where coal mining began in the U.S.
Yeah, almost heaven. Blue Ridge Mountains,
Yes.
Shenandoah River.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I know the place. Life is old there.
Mountain Mamas were, I believe, also.
Older than the trees.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought it was older than some cheese.
Why?
I don't know.
I mean, it's definitely older than some cheese.
Something about the mountains, eating up some cheese.
Oh my God. So, coal was the fuel that powered the Industrial Revolution. And in an era of, rapid and sprawling U.S. expansion, the westward expansion in the U.S., it was in pretty fucking high demand. So, which would lead you to think, if you were some average guy in the Northeast, working at a fucking printing press in Philadelphia or some shit,
Giovanni Ribisi.
You'd probably... I hate that.
It was
so
fuck. I
much.
nailed it though. That was right there.
God
That was
damn
right.
it.
Are you still not seeing Horizon?
No, I will never watch
That
it.
movie fucking is moderately okay.
You've done nothing but shit on it.
What? It's great.
You've done nothing but
It's
shit on
not
it.
good, but it's good.
God damn it. All right. Giovanni Ribisi plays some idiot working in a printing
Dumb-faced
press.
asshole is your words. I like that.
I said he was a dumb-faced asshole.
The
But,
end of the movie Horizon, without giving any spoilers away, Kevin Costner's first part of his opus, 9-part series or whatever,
9?
is a lot. I know it's at least 3 that he's
Gross.
working on, but he's having trouble with financing or something. The second one's done. It's not being released yet. We'll figure it out.
Jesus.
It's supposed to be really good. But the end of that movie is specifically like the big reveal at the end is literally just Giovanni Ribisi working in a printing shop and looking mysterious. I don't get it.
Kevin Costner's really just become a one-trick pony,
I mean, he wears a cool hat and shoots a cool gun.
and everything's got to do with the West.
Yeah, and women want to fuck him, and he's like, "No, you don't want to do that," and then they do it. That's in like multiple movies. Of his. He's like, "I'm a
Goddamn.
fish man, don't fuck me," and she's like, "No, I want it."
There's one where he's a fish man. Oh,
Yeah, of course.
Waterworld. Yeah.
Dry land is not a myth. I've seen it.
Okay, so anyway, you would think if you were just living in the Northeast, you would think that anybody having to do with working in the coal industry was probably fucking making some solid cheddar, right?
Yeah.
High demand, rapid expansion. The Transcontinental Railroad finishes in 1869, and
Nice.
all of the hundreds of fucking branches off of that. I don't even think we had gotten really into exporting coal much at that point. We were just busy trying to keep up with domestic demand, right? Creating entire towns all through the coal belt through the latter part of the 1800s. You know, maybe you don't think the average coal worker was rolling in it, but he's got to be making a solid living, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, because of the coal.
Right. As much as we need this resource and how much we're shipping across the country, no one in the coal industry could possibly be relegated to poverty, right?
I mean, if anything about history, American history, indicates where you're headed with that, I would say that it's usually. Hold on. So the redneck thing we were talking about, that's the Battle of something. But no, I'm sure it'll come up.
Yeah, well.
But Battle of something. I believe that the colors of like red and black come from that in the anarcho movements,
Really?
right? So I'm going to have to assume there's something about inequality, injustice,
Yeah.
societal. I already said inequality.
Also, just the capitalist model.
Capitalist fuckbags.
Just the capitalist model.
Yeah, capitalism. So no, they didn't have money. They were forced to dig rocks and get the black lung.
But you, Mr. Printing Press in Philadelphia, would think that they did. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. So the issue is that while states like Pennsylvania, Ohio, Illinois, they had coal industries that were also vital to industrial revolution, expansion, railroads, all that stuff. But they were established before this coal boom, right? They were usually owned by local businessmen. They were managed in more non-exploitative ways. And they just kind of rolled into it rather than suddenly like, bah, we got to have all this coal immediately. You know what I mean? So, but by the end of the 1800s, the demand for coal had become so fucking crazy that these businessmen started looking out of state, and they zeroed right in on Appalachia, where this shit started, where we first found coal, where we first started digging coal. At the time, Appalachia, West Virginia in particular, didn't have a whole bunch of mines. I mean, they were mining coal there, but it wasn't coal boom fucking,
Right.
Times. So,
boy, I remember when I worked in a field where there was a big energy boom.
fair enough. So
it was like radiative gold just dropping all over the place. And if you could reach out and grab it, I mean, I imagine it was much like when they first discovered the rich veins of coal in West Virginia.
probably. So
That's
just
all gone.
Just for reference, okay? Let's look at what West Virginia alone, just the state of West Virginia, right? We're going to focus mostly on West Virginia for this episode because, one, it's the title of the fucking episode. Two, it's arguably where the exploitation was the absolute worst. And three, most importantly, it's where a whole bunch of shit popped off. So in West Virginia alone, in 1869, the year that the Transcontinental Railroad is done, right? The state of West Virginia produced 489,000 tons of coal.
Damn.
489,000, right? Fast forward to 1889, 20 years later, right? West Virginia is producing 4,882,000 tons
Holy
of coal.
shit.
That's a tenfold increase in 20 years.
God damn.
Which, by the way, is not intrinsically a terrible thing if the expansion is done correctly.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're, unless you're considering putting living human beings into dark, dusty holes that give them fucking respiratory illnesses. Like,
and also, it wouldn't be an episode of Delete Everything podcast if everything was done properly and above board. Right?
Yeah. Well, you mean like a history podcast in general?
Yeah, right.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine if like we actually covered like a thing in history that was done without any shady fuckery?
Without any of the tragedies and horrors?
Yeah.
I would love one of those episodes.
That'd be
Can we
cool.
find one of those?
Why do people listen to this? It's fucking depressing as shit.
Shut up, dude. God damn. By the way, put a pin in the 4.9 million tons in 1889 because we're going to circle back in about 28 years, right? Point is, particularly from 1880 to 1890, West Virginia saw a huge jump in active mines opening, and the speed and volume of that turned into, like, a lot, like I said earlier, a lot of out-of-state interests turning rural areas into little towns, similar to the westward expansion in a way, but also not similar in that the company owns the whole fucking town, right? We know them as company towns, and we've talked about this. Company town owns the only business in town. It employs almost everyone in town. They own all the housing. They own the general store. They own it all, right?
Yeah. And even like outlying areas, like there's, you watch a lot
the
of
roads, the railways.
Yeah, watch a lot of westerns and shit like that. You'll come across this sort of thing fairly frequently. Video games, Red Dead Redemption 1, I think, has a fucking a whole coal mining like subplot thing.
Yeah,
or is it 2? I think it's 1. But the deal is that the company would own like the town, but if you like tried to open up shop off the town, like in the woods a little bit, like so people could come buy from you instead, they wouldn't give the workers real money.
Yeah,
they'd give them markers for the company store, but 2, they would fucking kill you. Because the companies owning mines in these areas in this time, their scruples were slightly less than what we're led to believe these days.
Surprise or fucking prize. It's normally not a good thing. Imagine if having it out with your boss on any given day about any given fucking thing, right? Having an argument with your boss could lead to you losing your job, losing your home, losing your ability to feed your family, all in one fell swoop, right? You're homeless in one day.
Yeah.
Normally
it's not like you've got time to like try and find another source of income.
Exactly. Normally it's like these things happen,
Yeah.
In less rapid progression than you're fired, get the fuck out of your house.
It'd be literally like you show up at your house with guards from the company.
Oh, yeah.
Being like, Sally, we got to go right now.
Yep. So West Virginia, by the way, had the largest number of coal workers forced to live in company towns in the country. The rapid expansion also led to mine safety basically being a non-issue. Something I would bet there are more than a few West Virginia coal workers today that would tell you hasn't changed a whole lot. But
I mean, how safe can a fucking mine be?
There's certain ways you got to dig it so you don't have to worry about collapses.
Think about a coal mine right now, right? How much different is a coal mine right now compared to the 1800s?
I think they dig them out bigger.
I think, it's probably bigger holes. Better supports, maybe.
I think they make
more
sure
made
they
out
support
of
them
metal.
better. Yeah.
But in general, you were fucking taking
it definitely is. We don't
have
have the mine collapses now that we did in the late early 1900s.
Yeah, a little more structurally supportive. Yeah. Not like it's fucking never going to happen that a mine's going to crash, but
no, I think it still happens frequently enough.
Yeah.
I'm sure the people who are stuck in the mines or their families would say too frequently, but statistically not as frequently as it was happening, again, during this big turn of the century coal boom, right? So West Virginia at the time had the weakest coal mine safety laws in the country, and the laws that were on the books didn't even really have like a high rate of enforcement. So there were constant deaths from collapse, deaths from fucking fires, explosions, death from lack of oxygen, you name it. They were constantly hauling bodies out of these fucking mines.
God damn. Yeah, you know what this episode has in common with our Satanic Panic episode?
What's that?
Bunch of miners getting fucked.
Except they're actually getting fucked in this one.
Yeah.
So, God damn it.
You didn't like that one, did you?
No, I didn't. I don't like it at all. So the other rather interesting kind of distinct thing about the coal industry, particularly when you think about the area of the country we're in and what era of U.S. race relations we're dealing with, I don't know necessarily that it should be surprising considering how the workers were treated, exploited. But the coal industry was a hodgepodge of races and ethnicities. So you've got local people who live in West Virginia. You got just your local hill people. You've got deep South African Americans. You've got Italian immigrants, Hungarian immigrants, all sliding down these fucking mines to pull up dirty rocks that fuel progress. That was just this crazy hodgepodge of people who, they got along. Kind of hard not to get along with.
How American, though? They all go down different. They all come up looking exactly the same.
True. So through all of this background, right, we get into the early 1900s. So between the shitty wages, the shitty work hours, company towns with shitty services, unsanitary living conditions, is this starting to sound like anything that we've covered previously?
Hold on. Is this one gonna be what hand motion are you making at me right now?
Bananas.
Oh, I thought you were just jerking off.
What am I jerking off like this?
I mean, it's curvy, long.
But who
Just
does
stop doing
does
it?
it like
Stop
this?
doing it.
Who does it like this?
I knew it was Fruit Wars. I was trying to come
Okay.
up with like a funny thing, maybe like freak shows or something.
Well, this is all going to get edited out, so say whatever you want.
Is it really?
This part?
Why?
I don't know. Maybe not. Do you don't want it to be edited out?
I don't know. I like that part where you're jerking the banana.
I can do that for you anytime you want, Riley.
Oh yeah.
So this is all the shit that
I don't know why I just did fucking Al Pacino. There's a hoorah, hoorah.
So this is all the shit that President Arbenz in Guatemala wanted to change in the 1940s when United Fruit workers were being exploited in the same exact way. You know, before United Fruit coerced the U.S. government to fund a coup to overthrow the fucking Guatemalan government and hand it over to an autocratic dictator that would let United Fruit do whatever the fuck they wanted. Remember that?
Yeah. I
Remember
recall
all that stuff happening?
Yeah. The atrocities. Yeah.
Yeah. So the similarities are pretty striking down to the coal workers being paid in company script versus actual money. So again, the company owns the town. They own the housing that you and all of your fellow coworkers and your families live in, which by the way, they deduct rent from your pay.
Yep.
They pay you.
God forbid you eat any of the coal. They deduct that right from your check.
They pay you in script. You can only go buy the other shit that you need to live from general stores and grocers and whatever, you know, the company owns. So you're handing them most of your fucking script back. Anyway, you're a slave. I'll say it. You're a slave with extra steps.
Yep.
Right? I would say without the gratuitous beatings, except hold on.
Oh, gratuitous beatings.
Before I continue, I would like to say that I fully recognize that there is an enormous difference between American chattel slavery and West Virginia coal mining industry in the late 1800s and early 1900s. That being said, any parallels or comparisons made are strictly for dramatic effect and not because we think that they're identical. You see, what we do here at Delete Everything Podcast is we hold a mirror up to the ugliest parts of history.
Your
Not
balls.
not to dwell on it or to justify it. We do it so we can make dick jokes at it. Thank you. That is all.
Case in point, yeah, the balls joke. Sorry. Should have let it ride.
Now fucking double hold up because there were totally gratuitous beatings. The state and federal government favored
Gratuitous beatings.
the business owners over the laborers, cramming themselves into fucking literal holes in the ground to make the country better. You know, the governments were like, well, we'll take care of these guys. And who cares about these fucking assholes putting their lives at risk to make everything better? So it was super common for mine companies to put together armed posses and to beat the shit out of coal workers who were striking or trying to unionize.
Yeah.
They would beat the shit out of them, arrest them. Then the coal company would fire them. And, oh, hey, that fucking place you're living in, get the fuck out of that.
Owned by the company, yeah.
All with pretty much zero recourse.
You're in jail. Your family's fucking scattered to the wind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Martha's got to take the kids and run off into the fucking West Virginia wilderness, or else they're going to
Jesus.
fucking beat the shit out of her, too.
Right. So that brings us to the Battle of Staniford in February of 1903. This is when shit really kind of starts popping off and stays popping off for a while. Important to note is that strikes have been going on all over the country for decades at this point. The United Mine Workers of America Union, right, and the coal owners have pretty much been at odds anywhere where there's coal coming out of the ground. But West Virginia has been kind of uncharted territory because the coal expansion there was so rapid and so recent. So at this time we're talking about, there's been a strike going on since October of the previous year, 1902. On this particular day in February of 1903, there is a group of 33 coal miners who are part of the strike, and they're marching from town to town, striking, ostensibly trying to get more people to either join the cause or to just drum up support, whatever. And we're dealing with a time in U.S. history where the federal government operated a lot more as strike breakers than as peacemakers when, you know, the common rabble dared to complain about their oppression.
Oh, how dare they?
Right. So there's a U.S. Marshal named Daniel Cunningham who is after these gentlemen to serve them injunctions and arrest them. I'm not sure what the crimes were, but
Striking.
possibly.
Hey, you aren't digging the coal like they want you to. You're going to jail.
But yeah, so he's looking for these guys. He's got injunctions on several of them, and he's supposed to serve them with these injunctions and arrest them. He catches up with them, and they threaten to, arm up and fucking take his ass out if he doesn't leave them alone. So he's like, okay, and fucks off to a neighboring town where he asks the county sheriff, a guy named Harvey Cook, if he can round up a posse. So Cook is all about it, and he
Cook said, "You're looking for some what?
Pussy? Is that what you're gonna say?
No, I wasn't gonna say that. That's crude.
I
was going to imply it.
I automatically thought possum.
I was what? You're looking for some possum?
Seems like something you eat in West Virginia.
The fuck? This whole thing has gone tits up.
Seems like haute cuisine in West Virginia.
Please continue. I'm not gonna make any more jokes in this.
You made a pussy joke, and I can't make a joke about West Virginia.
I didn't.
You did.
I implied one. I implied one.
That's still a pussy joke.
Fuck
you. So Cook is all about it. He phones the governor to ask for troops, but the governor tells him, "Yeah, just put together a civilian posse. Just get some guys together and put that shit down. I'm not sending troops in, right?" Cook summons 500 armed men to meet at the courthouse and be ready in case he and the U.S. Marshal Dan Cunningham, in case they can't peacefully resolve matters, just be here at the courthouse with all your guns and be ready, right? While all of this is going down, an attorney for the United Mine Workers is making arrangements with Cunningham to pay bonds for these guys who violated this injunction and threatened the U.S. Marshal and all that shit. And they could just show up to court and be arraigned without arrest being necessary, right? So he's so this lawyer is saying, "Hey, look, we'll pay the bonds. Like, just don't escalate the situation. They'll show up and be arraigned." Right? So the lawyer's going to handle it, right? And it seems like we're good. Cook ends up sending the posse home, and the strikers all kind of disperse. Some head to a little tent city they had set up along the river, and some head to Staniford to stay in the homes of friends. Well, turns out Cunningham assembled a posse anyway. He assembles a different posse of 50 U.S. Marshals, along with Sheriff Cook, and a Baldwin Felts detective named Howard Smith on the morning of February 25. He decides we're bringing him in, right? We're going to talk at length, by the way, about Baldwin Felts in a little bit here, because they are very central to this whole fucking thing.
Is it Phelps? F-E-L-P-S?
Felts, like felt, like felt on something, like the fabric felt.
Okay.
Felts, like that time I felts your bottom. So
Felts my bald ones.
So from this point of this story, we have very differing accounts of what happened, right? What went down. There is a version of it from the local paper, the Fayette Journal, which, by the way, is owned by a coal baron. There's a version of it from a United Mine Workers investigator that went after the dust settles and investigated what he saw. And there's also at least one eyewitness account that was printed in a different paper, right? So in short order, the local paper, the Fayette Journal, again, owned by a coal baron, they printed a story about how 125 outlaws were holed up in a house full of guns and ammo, and this posse tracked them down around 6 a.m. on February 25th, walked up to the house and demanded their surrender, and the outlaws answered by firing on them.
Well, yeah.
So then shit popped off. Ultimately, the law won. Half of the outlaws ran into the nearby woods, and like 50 of them got apprehended. But there's this big stupid story about Howard Smith, the Baldwin Felts detective, being the one that walked up to the door to go, "All right, boys, come on out, blah, blah, blah." And they shot at him, and like 4 bullets went through his overcoat, and one of them grazed his finger.
Oof.
And you're standing at the front door in a house with 125 men in it, all armed to the teeth, and they shoot out the window, and you have 4 go through your overcoat and 1 graze your finger, and you manage to get to cover.
Seems unlikely.
Seems a little unlikely, but I'm not here to cast judgment, right? We also have the United Mine Workers investigation. That the investigator was dispatched on the day of the battle because of reports that 3 black coal miners had been killed. The investigator, whose name is Chris Evans.
Captain America?
Yeah. He did find that apparently a lawyer for the coal mine some prick named W.J. St. Clair,
I'm W.J. St.
which
Clair.
just sounds like a prick
I'm
lawyer
here
for
to
a
defend
coal
the
baron.
coal miners.
You right? Oh, W.J. St. Clair at your service, Esquire.
I represent the company. They paid you a fair wage for a fair day's labor, and you just got greedy.
Stupid. So W.J.
Feed your baby less. We don't need fat children.
Oh,
It says here in Section 3, Statute 4.
Fat babies shall not be tolerated by the coal industry.
If they're too fat, they can't work the mines.
How will we slide them in for the dirty rocks?
We're implementing the miners' mining.
So apparently W.J. St. Clair decided that the striking miners needed to be arrested whenever Cunningham informed him that United Mine Workers had offered to pay the bonds.
Oh, cool.
So he went to the lawyer from the coal industry and said, you know what? They worked out a deal. United Mine Workers are going to pay the bonds. The guys are going to go to the courthouse and be arraigned, and we don't have to do all this shit. And W.J. St. Clair was like, no, they must be arrested. They must pay for their crimes.
I won't rest till I see those miners in shackles.
How dare they not take their pittance? Why does W.J. St. Clair sound like fucking Skeletor from He-Man?
Skeletor.
Cease the mine workers! Okay, so, like I said, he throws a little fucking titty baby fit, and that is the reason, allegedly, that Cunningham reneged on his agreement and put this posse together to go fetch these guys, right?
Ah.
So handsome Chris Evans also found that in spite of...
Handsome Chris Evans.
Yeah, you know it. In spite of the fact that he had sent a telegraph to the men explaining the situation vis-a-vis the bond and the arraignment, and basically telling the men to like submit to whatever the marshal asked because a deal had been struck. But guess who owns all the telegraph and telephone lines in the area?
The coal company.
Same people who own every fucking thing else.
Yeah, and your ass.
So for some reason, that message never reached the miners.
Ugh.
Crazy, right? So in the first house that Evans goes to, the home of a black man named Stonewall Jackson, which I think is probably too soon for that nickname in the early 1900s.
I don't think so.
Being a black man named Stonewall Jackson? Having the same name as a Confederate general?
Just taking it back.
That's our word. Stonewall Jackson? Yeah, motherfucker.
I mean, maybe he was just like big badass. You know,
maybe.
like Stonewall Jackson would be like in the 1980s. That would be something Marvel would give to a black character.
Stonewall Jackson is a badass name.
Yeah.
When you look at the Confederate general with his fucking wonky eye and dumb looking beard, you're like, ugh. And you fought for slavery? I don't like that name anymore. That's why I think, 30 something, 40 years later, we got a black man named Stonewall Jackson. It doesn't matter. I mean, what?
Maybe he was just like so like broad of shoulder, like badass. So they're just,
Yeah, he's a Stonewall.
Yeah.
He's a minor. He can't be that big. I'm just saying, like, you can't be a huge minor.
You could. You get muscles.
Yeah, I guess maybe. Anyway, so
he goes to Stonewall Jackson, the superhero. I'm trying to think of his fucking his title, like his tagline. We will rise again, motherfucker.
Is that a black man doing the South will rise again?
Not the South, more him fighting supervillains in the streets of Baltimore. I don't know. Where would Stonewall Jackson be?
It feels problematic, the whole thing.
I guess
Baltimore?
What's wrong with Baltimore?
Athens, Georgia.
Who's fighting crime in the streets of Athens, Georgia?
The KKK.
Ooh.
It's a fucking true story. I didn't make history happen. It just happened.
Oh, God. No.
Well, you say no, but read the books, bud. Okay. Well, enough of that. So.
Delete that, please.
No.
Delete the whole thing.
No. So, world's sexiest man, Chris Evans, goes to Stonewall Jackson's house and he finds 3 dead black miners, the 3 that were reported on, right? William Dodson, William Clark, and Richard Clayton. Jackson's wife, 4 kids, and 8 others were in the house. And she says that around daybreak, they woke up to gunshots outside the house. And when Chris Evans looks at these guys, of the 3 deceased men, one is partially dressed. The other 2 are still wearing their night clothes, right? They're not armed. So according to the widow, or I don't think, no, Stonewall Jackson isn't close. According to Stonewall Jackson's wife, they just heard gunshots from outside the house, right? The second house that sexy Chris Evans goes to is the house of Joe Heiser and his sister. I don't know if Joe is a black man or a white man, but Joe is in bed and he is mortally wounded. And his sister testifies later when they do an inquisition. She testifies that the men busted into the house and she was there with her kids and she pleaded with them not to shoot her children, to which Marshal Dan Cunningham replied that, quote, "Women and children must take care of themselves."
Damn.
Which feels like a strange thing to yell at a woman shielding her children when you just busted into her house armed. That just me?
No, it seems odd. I mean, must take care of themselves in what respect? Like,
once I shoot your husband, I guess, or your brother.
Yeah, fucking.
From here on out was the rest of the sentence because you will have no one working for you.
Jesus Christ.
The third house is the home of Lucian Lawson, who I believe was also black, who is also mortally wounded. And this is the only instance that Evans could find where the strikers had fired back at the posse. As far as Evans could tell, in none of these instances were the strikers ordered to surrender until after the shooting had started. All told, this battle/massacre, depending on who's telling the story, I guess, all told took the lives of 7 men. Some died on the morning of. I think just the 3 initial died the morning of. Others died later of their wounds. And the organizers of the posse were ultimately found to have acted feloniously in at least one of the deaths. So that brings us to our eyewitness account, which I'm not sure if this person had a dog in the fight. I'm not even sure the person's name or anything, right? This was printed in the Charleston Daily Gazette the next day.
This is the one that's owned by the...
No. This is Charleston, West Virginia, which is the capital of West Virginia. This is different, less rural. This is metropolitan Charleston.
That's trouble in the mountains.
Yeah, basically. Printed in the Charleston Daily Gazette. I'm going to read the quote verbatim. The parties wanted had been located in certain houses in the village, said he. So I'm guessing this is the witness was a man. And the deputy and his posse went into the camp within a few hundred yards so as to be ready to make an early morning charge before those wanted could get away. The posse was divided into 5 parties, which marched to different sides of town and then all closed in at the same time. It was not yet light enough to distinguish anything more than the shadowy outlines of the men when they had gotten a few yards into the town to where I was standing, go to a house, stop a moment, then go on. Soon afterward, I could see other forms emerge from the houses and run toward the one into which the officers had gone. A moment after, I could see the men come from the house. Then I saw a flash of fire and heard the boom of a gun. Then came its answering boom, and the fight was on. From doors and windows, guns were stuck out and fired as soon as stuck. Pretty soon, the other 4 parties joined in the firing. From every side of town came the flash of fire, the ringing of rifles, and the booming of shotguns as the fight became general. Soon I could see figures of men retreating into the woods and firing as they went. A line formed upon the low ridge slightly above the town and began firing on the party of officers on lower ground. They were answered by a line from another ridge beyond the party in the low ground. But the range was too great and no damage was done that could be seen. The 3 men killed were all in one house, and in the house 6 others were wounded.
God damn.
So it sounds like they got to town, they split up into 5 parties, they went to different parts of town, and they came through and they checked on all the houses, and then they found the house with all the strikers in it, and then all the other guys converged there, and suddenly shots are popping
massacred them, yeah.
Yeah. So, conclusion? I don't know. I tend to believe that, obviously, the story from the town, the Fayette Gazette, was it the Fayette Gazette, I think? Yeah.
You said the Charleston.
Well, that was the Charleston, that was the eyewitness account. The Fayette Gazette was the first one I read that printed that. 125 guys in there that started shooting, shot through the guy's coat and all that stuff. That's owned by a coal baron, and that is the one outlier story that doesn't match with this guy or Chris Evans, Detective Chris Evans. Right?
Handsome Detective Chris Evans.
Heartthrob Detective Chris Evans. Here's what I tend to believe. The fucking coal magnates newspaper didn't report the fucking story accurately, and they reported it way in favor of the posse that came into town and did this shit. The United Mine Workers detective probably put a little stank on it on the other direction. I don't know. I'd say that the eyewitness account is probably the closest we're gonna get to.
I mean, I'm always going to you know me. I'm always going to lean to the side of like the authority, like the police or
Right.
the posse
Right.
are the bad guys.
Right.
I'm always gonna
Right.
fucking lean that way because they are almost always.
But here's the problem when you want something to change and you decide to do it with guns is that now you put some stank in the soup. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like now
I mean-
you've allowed them to write a narrative that makes you look bad.
I mean, I'm again always gonna it. I kind of hate that I even say shit like this publicly on the fucking radio. But like as Che Guevara said, a revolution without guns would never work. You know, if you're coming up against armed people, being armed is your only option. And yeah, that does fucking put a stink on everything, and it will lead to a gunfight. But
it does. And I mean, this is following decades of, beatings and getting tossed out of houses and all, like it is just a matter of time when it escalates this way. It just kind of happens that eventually somebody's going to go, you know what? Let's fucking get some guns. Like I'm sick
Yeah.
of this shit, and
Also,
then
I mean,
it doesn't
these are-
take long.
you gotta figure these are blue collar, salt of the earth workers. You know,
Mhm.
like I am of these people. You
Yeah.
know, like so I know very well.
you
that-
also have probably not black former slaves, but I mean within one generation, maybe two removed
like we just got out.
from slavery
Yeah.
going, why am I in this situation all of a sudden that I know that my mom and dad or, maybe my grandparents
Mhm.
just got the fuck out of where like I said, just slavery with extra steps.
Yeah, and not to beline my own people as a blue collar, lower class person, American myself, migrant Irishman, just
Yeah.
like this very literally like my kind of people.
Yeah.
Not the most forward thinking group, honestly, and I don't say that as an insulting thing. These are people that work with their hands. They work in the earth. They're working for a paycheck.
Yeah.
The currency of your life is in your hands, quite literally.
Mhm.
You work for a week's pay to pay for the next week, and there's not much beyond that. Saving is damn near an impossibility, especially if you're working in a company town like that.
Absolutely.
So when there's nothing that you can
No, the goal if you're the company setting up the company towns and paying your laborers in script trying to keep the price for their work as bottom, because let's face it, that's one of the few things that you can manipulate on your bottom line, right?
Right.
The things you have to bring in, the things you have to send out, the cost to move it around, all that shit is pretty locked in. There's not much you can do to change
Right.
that. The one variable that you can manipulate is labor.
Yeah.
And that's why in a runaway capitalist market, that is the thing where you get exploitation and exploitation and exploitation and more and more and more and more and more.
Because listen closely, everyone. What the workers control in this instance is the production. What the coal baron
The
owns,
production of one of the most high demand commodities in the United States at this point in
right?
time.
So what the coal baron owns is the means of production, right? So those two things are the schism of capitalism. And when the person that owns the means of production also controls the elements of production, that's where you get inequality and abuse.
Okay, Carl, calm down. Let's go.
I'm putting that in a very blanket way. I'm
I
not
know,
saying
I
anything
know.
about anything. But if the producers
He's giving you the cliff notes for Marxism right
Das
now.
Kapital, essentially.
Yeah.
So if the producers want to make capital, they must then have the means of production through some method.
People that you can exploit.
No, I'm saying if the workers,
Oh, if they have to have the means. Yeah.
they have to
Yeah.
take the means somehow, which I believe is
then communism.
Yeah, that's where you get your communism.
Leninism, yeah. Leninist communism. So, all right.
Or in the small term, it's just giving them what for, as they would say.
So let's talk about the Baldwin Felts Detective Agency, shall we? They're like I said earlier, they're pretty central to this whole story from beginning to end. So what the Pinkerton Detective Agency was to trains, the Baldwin Felts Detective Agency was to the coal industry. Right?
Interesting.
They were hired as strike breakers, and they had a tremendous amount of leeway in terms of how they operated within and outside of the bounds of the law. Right?
You guys might not know this about me specifically, but my opinion on strike breakers is they're pieces of shit.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
mind your fucking business.
Yeah, get the fuck. What are you?
Yeah.
You took that job? Fuck
Yeah.
you.
Also, hang on. You're mad that the people doing this work stop doing this work because you need that thing that they're doing? Why don't you fucking hop in and do it then for the same pay that they get and see how long you do it before you go, I need more money.
I think we can all probably agree on this here in the studio. One of my strongest principles is if you took a job to be a piece of shit rather than just fucking starve to death, you're still a piece of shit.
So
you could have gone fishing.
Like I said, these guys were basically the Pinkerton Detective Agency of the coal industry. This particular industry was started by William Gibbony Baldwin. Gibbony.
Gibbony.
Like the primate, Gibbon, with a Y at the end.
Billy Gibbs, they call him.
Got a couple brothers. They all sing real high.
Barry and...
William Gibbs. Wasn't William one of them?
I don't know.
Barry Gibbs.
And a Barry... That's all I got. I know, yeah, the Gibbs. Yeah. Staying alive, not has different punch in this context. Feel the mind shaking.
Staying alive when all the fucking oxygen goes out of the mind.
Feel the mind shaking and everybody's quaking.
God, so stupid. So William Gibbony Baldwin started his life as a shopkeeper. Then he became a dentist. Then he became a detective.
Classic arc.
What a weird fucking... Was it that easy to change your entire career in the early 1900s?
Dentist to detective is a pretty straightforward. You know, you're trying to find the root.
One day you're selling fucking horseshoes. Yeah, I hate it. One day you're selling fucking horseshoes and bags of grain, and then you're like, I think I'll go into dentistry.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. Finally, I have enough capital to purchase a giant ceramic tooth to put on the front of my store. Yeah.
What was the process of being a dentist in 1902?
You have ghosts in your blood. Give me your teeth.
Well, that one's bad, and you just reach in with some pliers and...
And then you just pour whiskey in and fucking burn it with coals.
What do you can't even like bite down on a stick when it's dental work?
You put cocaine on the stick, just fucking jam it into the hole. Then you snap the stick off. There you go. They call that a cocaine plug.
The asshole?
No, the hole in your fucking...
Hold the stick in your ass.
The cavity.
I'm going to pull the tooth.
Nurse, blow cocaine up his asshole. Patient's like, what?
Hurry, we've got 5 extractions today.
But I just had one toothache. But we need to take 5.
These all look bad.
Teeth are going at a capital. A premium payment at the dentistry store.
So yeah, he's got a very strange arc. He starts the Baldwin Detective Agency in the late 1890s and eventually takes on a partner, Thomas Lafayette Felts. Hence Baldwin Felts. Thomas Lafayette Felts is...
Come on down to Tom Lafayette's.
The direct competitor of Ron Lafayette.
We got your finest coals, your coal-operated mechanisms. We got your boilers. We got your steamers. We got your train cars. Lafayette Ron.
Lafayette Ron. What was the business we made it?
Yeah, he's a car salesman. Go down to Lafayette Ron's.
Jesus Christ.
We got your finest Chevrolets. We got your finest. We got the Packard Goose over here.
Hey, Tommy Lafayette here. You need coals? You need a horse for your coals? I got horses.
We got carts. We got coal carts. We got boilers. We got steamers. We got steam engines.
My buddy Willie Gibbs is he's got shoes for him.
So come on down to Tommy Lafayette's for all your coal needs.
So stupid. So Thomas Lafayette Felts is a lawyer who comes on to provide legal assistance, which is a little weird because there are later stories about how he was arresting people too. So who the fuck knows? And you get some lawyer who's got a fucking Batman complex. But in the early days, these guys were doing railway security and investigations just like the Pinkertons were.
Right.
But because they're based in the coal belt, they ended up guarding a lot of trains full of coal cars. And over time, particularly with the continuous striking, they end up falling into the role of basically perpetual strikebreakers, hired by the coal companies to just keep the peace.
It's a bummer because, wearing a bowler hat and carrying a cool gun with a vest and shit on a train, waiting for robbers, that's a pretty cool gig.
With a duster, wearing a fucking long duster.
That's a fucking pretty cool gig.
Yeah.
You got the mustache.
Oh, jeez.
You just got a toothpick.
Yeah, but then you
Yeah.
gotta. Then some guys like, I would like to have money instead of script, please. Can I have money? And then you got to go beat him with a bat,
That's not cool.
and then evict his family from the company-owned housing.
That's the word. There's a big difference between being a mercenary and being a guard.
Mhm.
If you're a guard guarding something and people come up to you and incite violence and you fight them, that's one thing.
Sure.
But if you just if you're just going straight to them and fucking them up,
Yeah.
that's no good.
Because of, as far as I can tell, pretty reasonable requests.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get into all of them. So
Pay us in money. That's
yeah, that seems like a, hey, you know how after I
Shut
work
up.
Yeah, you know how after I work 9-hour days, 7 days a week, and you guys take my rent out for the house that you fucking own?
I'm coughing up fucking black dust every night.
Yeah, and I only have coupons from you guys to buy stuff at your general store, and then I have nothing left. I'd like to maybe do better than that. How many millions are you guys making on this super in-demand product? So
Hey, how come I dig the coal all day and then I gotta pay for coal? Why can't I just take some?
Right. So the way these guys would operate is gonna seem a little strange by today's standards, because obviously we see private security in stores and malls and like normal everyday shit. But those guys are typically not armed, and even if they are, they're required to operate within the confines of the law, right? They're mostly there as a deterrent for people who might try and steal something, whatever. And if shit pops off, the cops get called first. The issue is that at this time in history, law enforcement and labor disputes within a company were left to be handled by that company, right? That's why agencies like the Pinkertons and Baldwin Felts exist, is that these wealthy companies could hire them. And the way the law was written was, if something happens with your workforce in your company, you guys handle that internally, right? So
don't bother us. Get your own guys.
imagine if Walmart has an employee that's stealing, right? And the security guard in the parking lot is responsible for handling that dispute from a law enforcement standpoint.
So he just comes in and just beats that employee to death with a club.
Over a fucking Snickers bar.
Yeah.
If it's a customer, that's a police issue. But if it's an employee, we got guys for that, right?
Right.
So we'll get further into it when we do our Pinkertons episode, which is coming not till next year. But so like I said, they start off doing train work in general, then coal trains, then by
John Coltrane?
Mm-hmm. But I knew when I wrote it in there, I was like, he's going to jump on that one. By the 1910s, train robberies were a lot more rare anyway. Like at that point, kind of fucking stifled most of that. So the coal companies started hiring them to suppress the strikes, collect intelligence on unions. They'd have like moles go in, spies into the union and report back to them. They would prevent labor organizers from entering company grounds, especially if it was a non-union mine. And they would evict the families of union members living in company-owned housing who went on strike or failed to pay the rent, which if I'm working for your company and living in the company's house in the company's town and I can't pay my rent,
feels like your
who's
fault.
to blame here?
Yeah.
And by the way, the Baldwin Felts agents had a reputation for being particularly violent. Like bad reputation for just, like you said, jumping right into it.
Think about it like this. They're a private security force that works for a predominantly labor-oriented company, right? You got maybe, 4% people working in offices and shit, but it's going to be predominantly labor.
Absolutely.
So these are all roughnecks that can fucking break rocks with hammers all fucking day. And there are no customers to stop from stealing stuff.
Nope.
The only thing you're there to police is the workers.
Yeah.
So if the workers cause a problem, you're already a bad guy. So fucking go for it.
I mean, yeah. And by the way, how much can you hold back? These are some fucking grizzled, wiry, fucking strong dudes.
They're rock breakers.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that's how they sound too, because they breathing coal dust all day.
So this, and this is why, back to that newspaper account, from the Fayette Gazette or Fayette, whatever, that account of the Stanford massacre. When I take into account this propensity for violence from the Baldwin Felts detectives, the era in history, the part of the country we're in, and the race of the three gentlemen who were shot with little to no warning, I just really don't fucking buy it. I don't buy that account.
Right.
So as these events culminate through the 1900s and into the 1910s, West Virginia, who really had pretty piss poor union representation compared to the states I talked about earlier that like rolled out coal in a less aggressive manner. All this shit really starts to ramp up their United Mine Workers membership because they're just looking at miners in Pennsylvania and Ohio and Illinois and going, these guys get paid 2-3 cents a ton more than we do. And it's because those mines have been there longer. Those mines weren't, boomtown mines, and they have union representation. And so United Mine Workers started coming in and really, really getting a lot of these miners to become part of the union. So you can probably see where this is headed because the industry is still exploitative as fuck. These Baldwin Felts guys are ruthless as fuck. The union is gaining members and aggressively trying to get West Virginia the same safety and pay protections that exist in other places. And it's just this cauldron of bullshit that's bubbling over. So we get to 1912 in the Paint Creek area of West Virginia, right?
Right.
In Paint Creek, most of the coal workers there are union, and they're trying to renegotiate their contracts. They want, well, we'll go over what they want, right? So in the Paint Creek area, there's sort of this confluence of two rivers. It's the Paint Creek and the Cabin Creek, right? And there are a bunch of mines there. There's 96 total coal mines in operation at the time. And these 96 coal mines employ about 7,500 miners.
That's a lot of people.
All underage, too. It's crazy. So out of those mines...
They were miners?
No, I'm kidding. I've been saying coal workers and coal miners the whole time to really just steady drip on the miner jokes. I just don't
steady drip on the miners.
No, we're doing the R. Kelly trials next year, too.
Ugh.
That's like I said, Paint Creek was really well represented by the union. There, of the 96 mines, 41 of those were Paint Creek union represented mines. Cabin Creek had 55 mines that were not. They had little to no union representation, right? So when Paint Creek did their, they started trying to renegotiate their contracts, they wanted a handful of things. We're going to go through all of them, but they realized that they were receiving 2.5 less cents per ton than other union miners in other areas, even of West Virginia. And so that was kind of where this all started. So in 1912, they go to the mines and they demand that the operators recognize the unions, that their right to free speech and peaceable assembly would be restored, because anytime there was a strike, that was the first thing that got fucking axed. No free speech, no peaceable assembly.
Hold on a second.
A constitutional right, but hey.
Talk about mines, axes, and any of those demands. Did they demand malt beer, red meat right off the bone?
Yeah, that's the strike. That's the Moria strike.
Yeah. We're in the company delved too greedily and too deep.
Yes.
And awoke the Balrog of Morgoth.
Yeah, exactly.
He had no choice but to smote his ruin on the mountainside.
I was just talking to my son about that today.
I just still, to this day, I just fucking really want to. Yeah, I haven't been in a fight in a very long time, but I would love to beat the shit out of somebody and describe
smite
it
his ruin
as having had smote his ruin on the mountainside.
Yeah, well, one day.
No, hopefully not. But it would be, if I ever get the chance, that'll be great.
So, like I said, recognize the union, right to free speech and peaceable assembly restored, that they stopped blacklisting discharged miners. So after somebody was released, that they were blacklisted and could not be hired back. The compulsory trading at company stores be stopped. Does
that pay us with money?
Yeah. This one is that cribbing be discontinued and that 2,000 pounds of mined coal constitute a ton. The scales be installed at mines to weigh the tonnage of the miners. So I guess they were fuckulating the tonnages.
They're like filling containers to equal a ton, but you could shake them and shit and be like, exactly. Pack some more in there.
So that miners be allowed to employ their own check weighmen to check against the weights found by the company check weighman as provided by law. And finally, that the two check weighmen determine all docking penalties, right? Pretty above board stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, look, we want to be paid a little bit more. We want to be able to be paid in actual money.
We want to be paid for our labor, and we want it to be honest and straightforward.
Right, exactly. I don't think that any of this is a crazy demand, right? However, all of the mines in the area, not all of them, most of them, decide, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah, you don't get to have that.
We're not going to negotiate with the United Mine Workers. We're not going to recognize them. We're not going to negotiate with them at all.
We don't recognize filth.
So, instant strike. Immediate strike, right?
Well, yeah. You're the union. You laid down very simplistic demands.
Uh-huh.
They said, eat a bag of shit. And you said, okay, well, I guess that'll do it, you know?
So, as soon as the workers start striking, here comes fucking Baldwin Felts guys, and they are just fucking busting heads right out the gates. You know, they're fucking going through and they are evicting people from houses, and several miners get killed in the early months of this. First month was like no casualties or anything, but then it really started fucking ramping up. The United Mine Workers set up a whole tent city just outside, like just in the Paint Creek area there, just outside of the mines. They set up a big tent city for all the miners and the families of the miners that got evicted from the homes so that this strike can continue. And over the course of about a year, you've got miners striking, going into the towns, big skirmishes, miners ending up dead, guards ending up dead. This is what I'm talking about. You don't really help your cause when, mob mentality, and I get it, you're pissed off. You should be pissed off.
This whole setting is very very Scorsese. You know, did you see Killers of the Flower Moon?
I did not.
It's a cool flick, very long, but like
it's very Gangs of New York.
It's very Gangs of New York. Exactly. It's the same sort of Scorsese thing, Goodfellas, that he loves to do, where he's like, you're going to do a fuckload of time and place setting.
Yeah.
So much time and place setting. And then bit by bit, it's going to accelerate and things, the tension's going to build and build and build until eventually you've got these like fucking set pieces of violence in the streets.
So, and that's exactly what it was. At some point,
we'll address Killers of the Flower Moon again on the Pinkerton episode.
Hell yeah. At some point, the Baldwin Felts agency makes something they call the Bull Moose Express. Which is an armored train they constructed with fucking machine guns mounted on the top.
Okay.
And they would roll it through the tent city and just fire on the fucking...
Ooh, god damn. That's that's some Bolshevik shit. That's like, holy fuck.
So as this shit continues to escalate in, ways where a lot of fucking people, I can't remember. I mean, it was like, it's a few dozen people that have died at this point. The governor of West Virginia establishes martial law and brings in, I think, 1,200 troops, and they go through, this is what's kind of shitty. I mean, it is kind of shitty, but it's typical. They go through all these, this tent city and just confiscating guns and ammo and blah, blah, and all that shit, which I get it. Those are, as far as the government's concerned, I'm doing air quotes right now. As far as the government's concerned, the people that shouldn't be armed versus the people that have authority to be armed. But if you're not changing the issues at the core of this whole fucking thing, all you did was set a bunch of people back to get murdered by the guys that you left armed.
So what you're saying is this is the very scenario that every anti-government conspiracy theorist and gun nut has prepared themselves for their whole lives.
Essentially, yeah. So...
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm staunchly on the side of the gun nuts and anti-government activists, conspiracy nuts in this particular topic.
But, another thing that happened throughout all this is that Mother Jones, who we're not going to talk about at length, but she being this big labor organizer who was affiliated with the Socialist Party of America, now those guys get involved. And that's where a lot of the guns came from, was that they were bringing them in and arming these guys up. And so now you've got another
ideology,
another interest group, that's involved in this. And I'm not taking the side of the fucking coal mines by any stretch of the imagination. I fucking hate seeing anybody's labor exploited. To this day, I hate seeing it. To this day, I wasn't there for this, but
stay out of the maternity ward then.
What?
Labor. What, they have to pay to be there? It's exploitation of labor.
I fucking hate it.
Yeah, I'm with you though, because like bringing the Socialist Party in, huge move on resources, but it's also going to turn sentiment probably a lot stronger against them. And these workers are, their union and they're organizing, but they're not necessarily socialist. Socialism, a whole nother
It's a
construct.
whole it's a whole extra thing.
And it's a noble purpose to come in on this with the Socialist Party, but at the same time, it's advancing their own political beliefs, and it's just another way
It's
of politicizing and using these minors.
yeah. I mean, honestly,
Literally giving them guns and
Yeah.
being like, "Yeah, why don't you go make a point?"
You muddy the waters a little bit. Now you have more political ideologies and stuff being sort of mixed into this that don't need to be there, and it's just kind of and I understand it's a means to an end, but I don't know. Anyway, the government declares martial law. Shit calms down a little bit. He retracts it, sends the troops home, and like immediately shit pops off again. So he brings the troops back in. Eventually, after almost a year of work stoppage, at least from the union workers, they brought in scabs to work the mines anyway. But in April of 1913, United Mine Workers presented the Paint Creek mining companies with their new compromise, where they left some of the demands out, but they said, things that are non-starter, a 9-hour workday, accountability for miner compensation, which is the the weight guys, the weight checkers,
right,
and stuff like that, and protection from backlash for union members.
Yeah,
right. So the mining companies accepted that compromise, and that was enforced throughout the whole Paint Creek area there and in Cabin Creek. So this jumps up even more the union membership in that area.
Right.
So which was kind of one of the lost areas, like that southern West Virginia area where Paint Creek, Cabin Creek was kind of like the area that was like the last place that United Mine Workers really needed to get in and be like, we need representation there, right? So everything is not copacetic, but better for a little while. So in April of 1920, right, there are like 300 miners in Matawan, which is in Mingo County, West Virginia, right? And they joined the United Mine Workers, right? 275, 300 new union members, right?
Right.
In retaliation, one of the coal companies there fired all of the union members.
Whoa.
They said, this is too lopsided. We're firing everybody. And they gave them 3 days to leave their company housing. On the 4th day, they start pulling people out. So the sheriff of Mingo County, a guy named G.T. Blankenship, had to say it that way. G.T. Blankenship. He actually arrests Baldwin Felts agent Albert Felts, Thomas Felts' brother, who is part of the agency, right? He goes and he goes and arrests him because he says that they're illegally evicting miners as punishment for union activity, which, like we just discussed in Paint Creek, that was
fucking can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that. You cannot punish people for union activity.
Right.
So he goes and he says, "You're under arrest. You can't fucking do that. We're not. You want to arrest?
What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Basically, what he said was, "Look, you want to fire people, you want to evict them. You need to go through the county sheriff to do that, and the county sheriff needs to do the evictions." And that way we can make sure that people peaceably abide by, they comply, right? So all these, there's still people getting fired. There's still strikers. I mean, at that point, because of everything that went down, a lot of people said, you know what, fuck this, strike. We're striking again, right? So about 3,000 union members from that mine and surrounding mines decide to strike again. They set up another fucking tent city, and they are, again, setting it up for people who were evicted from the houses and yada, 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 and to sort of conduct this, have a base of operations for this strike.
Right.
So all fine and good until about a month later, the same guys, the Baldwin Felts agents, decide to go to a different coal mining operation, the Stone Mountain Coal Camp, and they
fuck?
They are getting ready they did a bunch of evictions. They went and they had some dinner, and then they're getting ready to get on the fucking train to go back to, I think, somewhere else in West Virginia, right? So as they're heading to the train, the Matawan chief of police, not the county sheriff, the chief of police, Sid Hatfield of, I believe, Hatfield and McCoy fame.
Oh, dang.
He's the police chief in Matawan. He says, I've got these arrest warrants for you guys. You weren't supposed to do this shit. You know,
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, we're gonna arrest this time Albert Feltz and his brother Lee. So both brothers of Thomas Feltz. And he's like, you're under arrest. These guys go, oh, well, turns out we have our own warrant to arrest Sid Hatfield.
The sheriff?
The fucking police chief.
No, we've got a warrant for you.
Yeah. So they go to the mayor. The mayor goes, this is fraudulent. This isn't a real arrest
What the fuck is wrong
warrant.
with you? Yeah.
So while this is all going on, these detectives don't realize all these miners that are hearing about this going on, that are striking, these 3,000 miners, a bunch of them fucking arm up and go to the train station. And they are surrounding the whole fucking area and watching to see what goes down. At some point, and we don't know who or why or how, what went down, shots start being fired. Now, from one account that I read, it was the Baldwin Feltz agents.
Oh, let me guess. On the other account that you read, it was the strikers.
Yeah. Well, no, it was Hatfield. It was Sid Hatfield.
Oh yeah,
that
little cowboy.
That fucking that he started it. So
that guy's the real McCoy.
The one from the Baldwin Feltz agents say that Sid Hatfield shots. I like your real McCoy joke. Thank you.
Better than me making a Metallica joke about Sid Hatfield.
Oh God. The other is that from the police is that the Baldwin Feltz agents attempted to arrest Sid Hatfield, and then the mayor, who was there to authenticate or not authenticate this arrest warrant, ends up getting shot in the process, at which point everything fucking popped off, right? By the time the fucking dust settles, 10 guys dead, one of them the mayor, 2 of them miners, 7 Baldwin Feltz agents, including Thomas Feltz's 2 brothers.
Damn.
All fucking dead.
Ooh, that doesn't bode well.
Yeah.
Thomas Feltz is gonna give a fucking evil monologue in front of his fireplace or some shit with a snifter of brandy.
2 of the miners that were killed, Tinsley and Bob Mullins, I guess maybe they were brothers, Tinsley Mullins and Bob Mullins. They had just been fired for joining the union.
Mm-hmm.
They were both unarmed.
Damn.
Yeah. So pretty fucked up. The governor, again, calls the state police to take control of the situation, to fucking roll into Matawan, please.
Hi, it's me again.
Hi.
I know. I just need you guys to roll up there one more time.
Yeah. So pretty much everybody laid down arms. You know, obviously the sheriff or the police chief and his guys were like, hey, go ahead. They actually stacked all their arms outside the fucking hardware store before the police got there, before the state police got there. And even the miners were like, hell yeah, we got rid of some of those fucking Baldwin Feltz fuckers.
Yeah.
And so everybody was just like, there we go. You know what's really cool? In Matawan, West Virginia, there is still a Matawan Massacre Museum that is in the building of the hardware store that it was a hardware store where it all went down.
Oh, cool.
It's in that building, and there's still fucking, like, the front of it's riddled with bullets.
Dang,
bullet holes. Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I think if I was one of those strikers, I don't know if I'd have laid my arms down, but I might have buried them somewhere.
So Tom Feltz tried to send undercover operatives to go like find some sort of evidence to like arrest Sid Hatfield and bring him to charges for killing his 2 brothers. It ended up getting all the charges got dismissed, and as they're leaving, they had a whole fucking court thing, whatever, you know, trial and everything. There were like 22 charges that Sid Hatfield was up against, and I think one of his deputies was with him. They walked out of the courthouse and were murdered immediately by Baldwin Feltz detectives.
God damn. I guess the old Tom is not fucking...
Yeah.
He's not fucking around now, huh?
Yeah. Fucking
Jesus.
assassinated on the courthouse steps.
God damn.
Right?
That's like the most iconic place you can get assassinated.
On the courthouse steps.
Yeah, it's like the only other place that would be more iconic is if somebody walked into the courthouse and shot you in there, you know?
Yeah, seriously. I don't see anywhere. I didn't see anywhere. I didn't find anything about whether those detectives got arrested and tried or anything.
I mean, probably not, honestly.
That's a bold fucking assassination move.
Yeah, but I mean, we're in rural West Virginia, baby. It's up a mountain. You know, just for contrast, this is some Big story about some kid that fucking popped somebody in downtown fucking Manhattan, rode his bike off and got away. Oh, these two detectives just walk up to somebody on a random Wednesday in fucking rural West Virginia.
Oh
They,
my
they're
God.
probably getting away with it.
I mean, well, so that that event happened on August 1st of 1921, right?
Mm-hmm.
A year after the Matawan shootout, let's call it. And when Sid Hatfield gets fucking assassinated in front of the courthouse, guess what happens?
The entire clan comes for him.
All of the fucking miners
Yeah.
just go fucking haywire.
I'll bet. There's only so long you can live under a yoke. You know, it's fucking. Yeah, Hatfield here was being fair.
He was actually in favor of the miners being able to unionize. Yeah. He was cool with the union.
Yeah, like from what we spoke of here, he wasn't some grand champion or anything, but he was definitely on the side of justice or the law at the very least.
Well, yeah, you know? I mean, at the very bare minimum, like, you know, like what we were saying, it's not like they're asking for that much. They're
asking for nothing. They're asking for literally the right to work and live.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
By the way, just to touch back on an earlier point, remember we had talked about when the Transcontinental Railroad finished, West Virginia is producing 489 tons of coal. I'm sorry, 489,000 tons of coal yearly. 20 years later, in 1989, it's 4,882,000.
Right.
Tenfold, right? By the time we get to 1917, so 28 years later, 89,384,000 tons of coal.
That's a lot of coal.
More than 20 times
what it was 28 years before. A lot of naughty stockings.
So, and every time every time one of these things pops off, all it does is like blow up union membership. It causes extra strikes. It's just like, at some point, if you are a fucking out-of-state coal baron who's just got to be raking it in, man. How much alone are you spending to send hundreds of Baldwin Felts agents to go bang heads and evict people?
It doesn't matter. It's never about the money. It's always about the control. If the profit margin is being affected at all by anything, and you can fix it by just giving up a little bit of a chokehold, it'll never happen. They'll always tighten the hold and lose more money to do it. This has been proven time and time again.
You're not right.
Look what we were talking about with the Chiquita Fruit Wars. You know?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
it's always the case. I mean, it's what we talked about with the fuck we were doing Stalin. You know, that's what the Tsar was doing with what was a bloody Black Monday or something, Black Sunday, where the fucking the forces of the Tsar like unloaded on Bolsheviks.
Oh yeah. I don't remember what it was called.
That's all just like, I would rather kill and spend more money killing than ease up the boot even a little bit.
Just from the fucking perspective of the work stoppages and having to get some scabs to come in, and you can never get as many scabs as you lost.
You got to pay scabs better than you paid the fucking employees.
You do, right? So it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, dude, just shut the fuck up and just scrape a few extra pennies off.
Play ball a little bit, yeah.
Just for the sheer sake of your own goddamn fucking sanity. But you're right. When you get to that mindset, it's like, you know what? No. Today it's, you know, this much off my profit margin. What about tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day? And you feel like, it's just like with kids. You feel like if you give them an inch, you take a mile.
And that's the thing. If you said no yesterday and they push harder today, you're going to say no because you already said no. And now on the third day when they're still pushing, you're pissed off because they're not doing what you fucking told them to. And then they need to be punished.
Well, so immediately after this shootout, or right around the time of this shootout, estimated around 10,000 armed coal miners say, fuck this shit, and march to Blair Mountain, which is near Charleston, West Virginia. And they confront about 3,000 strikebreakers.
Yep.
So these are Baldwin Felts agents. These are state police. These are, county police, state militia, Baldwin Felts agents, right? All approaching this mountain range, and everybody is fucking armed.
Yeah.
Everybody is armed. By the way, this is the largest armed uprising since the American Civil War.
Yeah.
This is the largest labor uprising in U.S. history. 10,000 armed striking coal workers. And if you're one of the 3,000 of this fucking strikebreaker posse, I would imagine you'd be looking at 10,000 guys.
Just
And
like,
not all of
I think I'm gonna go home.
not all of them have guns, but some of them had, pitchforks and torches, but
Fucking
still.
pickaxes and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, can
Strong,
you
wiry dudes.
imagine the balls of a fucking miner walking up to an army with guns with a fucking pickaxe?
Yeah.
Like, that is the romance of that, just like, it's so far beyond your own principles at that point.
Yeah,
that,
it's
like you have to essentially accept that you're gonna die.
you're gonna
even walking up there.
100%. You have to accept, like, I'm going and I'm going to fucking do what I have to do, and I'm going to probably maybe die, and
But is what it is, Yeah, like I said, the romance of that. Just like you're on the side of good unequivocally in your mind.
Yeah.
There's no other way that this could be. You didn't create this situation. You're a part of it. And the motion that you are now making with these people is intractable. Like,
And by the way,
you might as well be a drop in the ocean. You're going with this motion
Yeah.
because there's no other way to do it.
fucking seriously. And so in these last two events, this Battle of Blair Mountain we're about to talk about, and then the Mattawan Massacre, that's when you start seeing the red handkerchiefs. That's when the rednecks.
That's when the symbols become important. Yeah.
Absolutely. And like this is 1920, 1921, right? So World War I has just wrapped up a couple years earlier. A lot of these guys are back from being overseas, getting into jobs where, by the way, the mortality rate at this time for miners was higher than being in the war.
Yeah, I mean,
Some of the frontline
let's
guys.
not forget that being a miner fucking sucks.
Yeah. Some of these guys came back from the front lines of the war alive to go down into a fucking mine and have it collapse and die.
Yeah.
Because the mortality rate for working in the mines was higher than some of the front line fucking battalions in World War I.
Yeah, all these guys.
Some of the guys digging trenches and fucking shooting guns.
They're fighting so hard for this shitty job because it's, how to say, one, it's probably the only fucking job in the area, and they've already like put everything on the line to be there. But
For
two,
sure.
at this point, it's the principle of the goddamn thing.
It's crazy.
I don't know. I can see it.
It's not that I can't see it. It's just fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the situations like this should never have existed. But once you find yourself there, I mean, there's nothing else to do, really.
So the murder of Sid Hatfield was on August 1st.
Great grandfather of James Hatfield.
That's Hetfield, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. This strike, this march to Blair Mountain started on August 7th. So those two things are directly correlated. I mean, 100%. You've got these miners that are already pissed off. You've got one guy in one county, couple guys in one county that kind of are trying to like take control of the situation. They end up killing a bunch of Baldwin-Felts guys. You got to believe that at that point, you've got the sympathies of every single miner.
Yeah.
Every single miner at that point knew who Sid Hatfield was.
Yeah.
I bet you it didn't take any time at all for that dude's name to be ringing through the fucking hills and hollers of West Virginia.
Yeah.
And then he gets fucking murdered by Baldwin-Felts guys on the courthouse steps after having his charges dismissed. Who the fuck wouldn't be like, you know what, enough is enough? The people you fucking hate the most fucking take out the one guy that's kind of up on this pedestal, even if it's only for a moment.
Yeah.
This guy in a position of authority that can maybe make a positive change, maybe help you guys make a positive
very
change.
Specifically doing his job, not even
honestly.
like far out. He's just like, no, dude, it's illegal for you to do this. I'm a law official. You can't do
Yeah,
this.
you're under arrest.
Yeah.
No, you're under arrest. No, this is a fake fucking arrest warrant. Pew, pew, pew. Everybody's dead. I don't know how Sid Hatfield got away.
I probably was badass.
I mean, you gotta think. This is the way I imagine it. The Mayor Testerman, right, and Sid Hatfield talking to the two Felts brothers, right there in front of the hardware store, right? Hatfield's like, "Look, you guys were already warned about this. I've got an arrest warrant. I got to take you in." And they're like, "No, sorry, but we've got this arrest warrant for you. We got to take you in." And then the mayor looks at both of them.
You're not a fucking cop, asshole.
Then the mayor looks
you
at...
work for a mining company.
Yeah, no shit. But again, because of the way the law was...
Well, more than that...
It's this weird gray area. This is a company issue.
The topography of the area would be like, I mean, what, you're a cop? How outnumbered are you there? Compared to the company men.
On that day,
You know?
you were very outnumbered as a Baldwin-Felts guy. then so that's these
Well,
four guys
if
front
the
and center.
miners didn't fucking step in.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they pretty much consistently did. But at that point, Testerman grabs both. This, again, how it's playing out in my head. Testerman grabs both of the arrest warrants. He looks at theirs and he's like, this isn't even real, dude. And kind of the main account that I've seen, the one that's, and I don't know if this is just because it kind of gives you the good guy, bad guy,
Hey, broke the
black and
legend,
white
baby.
shit,
Yeah.
is that at that point, one of the Phelps brothers shot through his coat, shot Testerman, and then took a shot at Hatfield. Hatfield, and it went past Hatfield and killed one of the fucking miners that was there. Hatfield shoots and kills one or both of the brothers. But I'm like, these four guys were all front and center. One guy walked away. And then that guy got fucking murked on the courthouse steps.
Yeah, like that
as probably an immediate folk hero.
Yeah, that little gunfight right there is like, boom, you're a folk hero. That's Wyatt Earp shit. That's Wyatt Earp shit.
100%.
You know?
100%. And your last name's Hatfield in West Virginia? Come on, man.
Yeah, dude.
That's the stuff of fucking legends.
Yeah, and then just like a sneaky snake, just fucking taking him out on the steps.
So in the wake of all this shit happening, right? Shit pops off kind of all over the place, including, just everywhere. Because, like we said, this dude is like a fucking folk hero, right? And he's just been murdered. And so one of the places is back in Mingo County, where we were just talking about where Mattawan is. And they called it the 3 days battle. It was just the miners, a bunch of the mines had reopened, but they had imported a bunch of labor. So they had imported a bunch of scabs. They made the guys that they hired back sign contracts saying that they would not join the union. So they had to sort of be like, nope, we're not doing the union. And in the midst of this, the one guy that was like pro-union in the whole mix gets murdered. By the way, he converted the mayor. The mayor had a jewelry store when he was killed as part of like him sort of fighting this, like the coal mines and the Baldwin Felts guy. This is Sid Hatfield. He converted the jewelry store to a gun store.
Oh, damn.
That would sell guns to miners.
Oh, shit.
Which sounds like a bad sentence, selling guns to miners, but miners.
Hey, you know what? This is a safe place. We've been talking about miners getting fucked this entire episode.
Jesus Christ. So
maybe it's time for those miners to fuck back,
When this 3 days battle ends, it ends with a truce and they implement martial law in Mingo County. And so like immediately everybody's got to put down their arms, yada, yada, yada. And hundreds of miners get arrested for like bullshit. Right. And they're like, this is a very one-sided martial law going on over here. Right. So while this is all going down, all these other coal miners all around the state are mobilizing. They go to Charleston, to the capital, to the governor's office, and they petition him with their demands, one of which is that you lift the martial law in Mingo County, like let people get back to work, stop letting these guys fucking import work, stop letting them fucking force people to sign contracts saying they won't join the union. Like, enough is enough,
Stop letting them fuck miners.
Yeah, but Governor Ephraim Morgan at the time of West Virginia was really into miners being fucked. Big fan. And so he refuses to give into the demands. And so they go, you know what? Fine. We'll march to Mingo County ourselves and free the guys that you've got, locked up over there.
I'm glad that we don't have any political figureheads these days that are into miners getting fucked.
Yikes. Are we going to edit that one out? Drew just gives 0 fucks.
I'm just,
I'll let you make the call whenever you listen. There is no client list, Riley. There's none.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about miners.
And I'm talking about client lists.
Listen.
There's none.
Coal is sustainable.
What?
Other forms of energy need to go.
Oh, yes. You're right. So, okay. So they say, fuck it. We're going to march to Mingo and free these guys that you have confined down there. Problem is, this requires them to go through Logan County via Blair Mountain.
Oh shit, look out. They got Wolverines.
And the sheriff of Blair Mountain, a guy named Sheriff Chafin, is staunchly anti-union.
Ooh.
So upon hearing about this, he puts together...
I love a sheriff that's like, no unions in my county. You're a piece of shit, dude.
He puts together a posse of 3,000 people, like we said at the top, and some shit kind of pops off early on, like nothing too crazy, but I mean, other than guys being killed.
Right. Yeah, that's a problem.
But so at first they're like routed because everyone hasn't, all the miners haven't coalesced yet. But sooner than later, about 4 days after this initial demand from the governor and the governor saying fuck no, it had swelled to 13,000 miners that are gathered and armed and marching toward Mingo County via Logan County through Blair Mountain,
Goddamn.
where this sheriff has this posse assembled.
Dude, I don't care what era it is. If you're just anti-union
Mhm.
for the sake of being anti-union,
Mhm.
go fuck yourself. He's a sheriff. Is he?
Yeah.
He's not a factory owner. Why the fuck would you be against people having rights?
I don't know. Well, so while they're marching,
It's good to know that people have never changed, though. That's fun.
while they're marching, President Warren G says that he is going to send, from 213,
Yeah, I got it.
Warren G Harding.
I understood.
He's threatening. He's threatening to regulate.
What he's saying is that he's going to regulate because there's a party up on the west side.
Yeah, he's about to have some soldiers mount up. They're handy with the steel. They earn their keep.
Okay, all right.
He threatens to send in federal troops and fucking bombers and the whole shebang. He's like, stop this shit right now. So the miners kind of stop just before they get to Logan County, and they have a long meeting, and they're like, you know what? If the president's going to send in bombers, we're fucked. So let's just head home.
So there were presidents that wanted to fuck miners back then.
Just wanted to, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm saying I've never encountered anything like this in my.
I was trying to stem the tide of the minor fucking jokes, and you are just, the dam has broken.
I don't know what you're saying.
Minor fucking jokes.
I mean,
Fucking minors?
Yeah, okay.
You're making those jokes?
I'm not, what jokes? What jokes? Are they not fucking the miners? It looks like the president wants to fuck a miner, right? Real good.
A bunch of them. About 13,000 currently.
Big number.
I can't. This episode's going to be 18 hours long. So they decide,
That's
you know
legal.
what?
18's legal.
Fuck you. So they decide we're going to go home. But then these rumors start coming out that Sheriff Chafin has been shooting Union sympathizers in Blair Mountain.
Damn.
So they're rumors. It wasn't happening.
Oh.
But they go, oh, what the fuck? And they mobilize and they go back. And so they get there on August 29, and the sheriff, like I said, they're heavily outnumbered, 10,000, 13,000 to 3,000, but they have higher positions and they have better weapons, and they got a bunch of fucking guys around the neighborhood with private planes to drop homemade bombs.
God damn.
Yeah. Fucking, they had poison gas and explosive bombs left over from World War I.
The miners?
No.
Oh.
The sheriff's boys.
Oh, I was thinking like, God damn.
They somehow managed to find poison gas and explosive bombs left over from World War I.
That's always nice when
and go up in their little fucking crop dusting biplanes.
It's nice to know that rural Southern police aren't afraid to commit war crimes.
Fucking nuts.
What are they just going to waste the poison gas? The perfect opportunity.
You know what's funny is actually one of the bombs did not explode, and the miners recovered it and hid it away.
Mm.
And later, when there were treason and murder charges against these guys, not the miners, the other guys, they were able to bring this fucking thing to court as evidence
Hey, man,
that they were actually dropping these bombs.
Those miners didn't want to get poison gas. They shouldn't have committed any crimes. I'm not saying anything prescient. This is all stuff that happened in the 1920s and 30s. Okay.
Uh-huh.
The world is different now. I'm not saying
Is it, though?
anything about current events. All I know is back then you had a president who wanted to fuck miners. You had the police committing war crimes against the civilian populace. You know, the organizing was frowned upon by fucking hillbilly dickhead policemen. And I don't know, for some reason the workers were unhappy with their wages. It's odd. It's odd.
All right, I've
never lived in that world, so
I've got to wrap this up. So what ends up happening is this pops off for about a week or so, week plus, and then federal troops end up getting there on September 2nd. a lot of these miners are fucking veterans, and obviously they're not going to fire on U.S. troops, but they confiscated a shit ton of guns and ammo. Some of them did what you said, and they buried their shit in the woods.
Yeah.
Before they left. A lot of them were found. I think after the battle, 985 miners were indicted for murder, conspiracy to commit murder, accessory to murder, and treason against the state of West Virginia.
Classic.
Most of them were acquitted. United Mine Workers of America numbers kind of fucking died after that.
Oh, yeah?
They plummeted big time.
Mm.
I don't know if they didn't, I guess, represent these guys, like if they didn't back them during their treason trials or what was going on. But yeah, they kind of fucking struggled for a little bit. Once the President Roosevelt signed the New Deal, then that fully unionized the coal mines in West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
A regime change sometimes will make good things happen. In the past, I'm not saying anything.
Well, that is the goddamn West Virginia Coal Wars.
That's a hell of a story, man.
Pretty cool story not that long ago.
Cool story. It is a story.
It is
a dramatic and impactful story for sure. I don't know if anything that fucking happened was cool. I love the human spirit and I love the fighting therein. But
100 years ago. That was 100 years ago.
The fact that it fucking had to take place at all is fucking a nightmare.
Yeah. You know anybody anywhere near 100 years old?
No, I don't.
No, really?
Well, I guess my mom.
She's not close to 100 years old.
She's like 70 something.
That's not that close.
It's pretty close. Like 30 years off.
That's a lot of years, man.
Not.
That's most of your life.
Yeah, well, life is short.
My fucking point is if you knew somebody around fucking...
That's what the miners would say.
Life is short, dig it.
Isn't that one of the sayings? Life is short.
Isn't that the fucking Kellogg Smacks guy?
Life is short.
Dig 'em. Dig 'em?
Dig 'em.
The frog from Kellogg Smacks. Is he still a thing?
No, that's not something.
Yeah, it is.
Life is short, man. Fuck it.
Like a miner.
Yeah. Got a short life. Fucking put it in a hole.
Slide yourself into a long shaft because you might not be here tomorrow.
Haven't been around too long. Just okay.
The
Thanks,
new
everybody.
Ford
Bye.
F-150 crew cab.
That's enough.
All right, that's gonna be it. If you guys like the whatever we just did here, the episode, that's it. If you guys like the episode, best way to show us, tell us, is to get on whatever you're listening to. Give us 5 stars. Leave us a review. Those are our favorites, honestly. Leave us a comment on Spotify. Join us on Instagram, Delete Everything Podcast. Join us on YouTube, Delete Everything Podcast. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/Delete Everything Podcast. And send us a message if you want. DeleteEverythingPodcast@gmail.com. And again, remember, September 9th, live show, our year in review, baby. So till then, not until then, till next week. Bye.
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 Hey, Tommy Lafayette here. episode.